This offseason, the New York Rangers front office and Chris Drury are going to be a very active and busy team as they look to bolster up this team with not only some good talent, but also hopefully some very tough, physical, and strong players that have some grit and ideally some playoff experience as well. We clearly saw going up against the Florida Panthers in the Eastern Conference Finals, losing a Game 6 to them. This Rangers team was just not tough enough, or at moments obviously skilled enough as well, but the overall physicality, the grit, the toughness just was not there for the Rangers up against a team like the Panthers, who are the toughest team in the entire NHL. They definitely need to add some grit, some physicality to this lineup, and hopefully Chris Drury and the front office can do so this offseason. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at all the needs for this team this upcoming season. Obviously, going into next season, this team has to add some good talent here, but also some tough and physical players as well. Starting off here, let's take a look at the current cap space that the New York Rangers do have. They currently have a total of $11.6 million in cap space. They went up an extra $300K after the salary cap rose a bit, an extra $300K from $87.7 million up to $88 million. So a bit of a jump there. Definitely not a massive jump, but an extra $300K can definitely go a long ways for a team. So that's not too bad there. Obviously not a massive difference, but $11.3 million in cap space to $11.6 is a nice add for the Rangers. Now taking a look at the goaltending situation quickly, because we do know that it's pretty much kind of shirt up there. The starting goaltender is Igor Shesterkin, who is one of the best goaltenders in the entire NHL, if not the best. You've also got Jonathan Quick as the backup, as he did get re-signed throughout this season for another years, which is definitely a nice thing. He was phenomenal last year when Igor wasn't playing his best and missed a bit of time there. He definitely stepped up and played quite phenomenal. Then we also have, as kind of the third stringer down there in the AHL as a starter with the Hartford Wolfpack, it will be Dylan Garand, I'd imagine. He had an all-right regular this season, but definitely showed up in the playoffs, so I do think that he is probably going to be the third-string goalie going forward, and currently I would say is the best goalie prospect in the Rangers system. And the Rangers do currently have a total of 13 forwards on the roster, not including 3 guys who are unrestricted free agents in Jack Roslovic, Alex Wenberg, and Blake Wheeler, who I'm guessing will all probably leave in free agency. But in that 13 number is including Capo Kakko, who is an RFA, a restricted free agent, who will probably get re-signed back with the Rangers this season. Could possibly get traded away, but I'd imagine he's probably back with the team for next year. That also is including, though, in that 13 number there, guys like Johnny Brodzinski, Matt Rempe, and Adam Edstrom, who could all possibly be down the AHL next year, but I wouldn't mind seeing guys like Edstrom and Rempe especially kind of be somewhere in that bottom 6 for next season. And for the defensemen, the Rangers currently have 6 on the roster, including 2 RFAs, Ryan Lindgren and Braden Schneider, but the number is not including 2 defensemen who are UFAs who will probably leave in free agency in Eric Gustafsson and Chad Ruhwedel. And now taking a look at the actual needs for this Rangers team going forward into the next season. And I think the pretty clear and glaring need is physicality, grit, and toughness, with a bit of ideally having some playoff experience as well. But the main thing is physical players who are gritty, who are tough, and just in general kind of those type of players. You need those kind of guys, especially when you're playing someone like the Florida Panthers, who have a very tough and physical skilled team. You got to have those tougher guys. The Rangers just could not match up physically enough against a team like that. So I think adding in some players, whether it is forwards or defensemen, adding in some guys with some physicality, who are tough, who are gritty, but also ideally have playoff experience. But the main thing is adding in some players who are very physical and tough. That is the number one priority for this team. I mean, obviously, you want to add in some very talented players as well, offensively or defensively, shutdown kind of guys. But you want these players who can also be very tough and gritty players. They can hit, they can fight a bit, they can get under your skin, battle after the whistle, be very tough physical players, because that is a clear need for this team going forward if they truly want to win a Stanley Cup. So now getting into the actual kind of positional needs here for this team. Ideally, they could add in a top line or top 6 caliber right winger, assuming we do see Kreider and Zibanejad stay together. Someone that kind of fits well with them, who could possibly be a kind of high-end talent guy with also some physicality and stuff like that. Ideally, it's hard to find those kind of guys who are true, top 6 offensive talents, while also having that gritty, tough kind of edge to their game. There's not too many of them out there, so if Rangers can find one of those guys, great. But if not, maybe you do look to try to bring in a prospect like a Brennan Hoffman or a Brett Berard, possibly, who I think do have kind of top 6 upside, especially a guy like Hoffman there. He's very talented offensively, but also has some physicality to his game. And same thing with a guy like Brett Berard there. I think they're both kind of top 6 upside kind of guys who also play with a bit of an edge sometimes. There's some physicality there. Brett Berard kind of guy. He is, a bit smaller on average, but he still plays a bit of an edge there. He can be a bit of a rat out there sometimes, a bit of a physical player, get under your skin, plays a bit of an edge. So that definitely is a good thing for this team that could possibly be added in. but also maybe they don't fully trust in Othmann or Berard to be kind of true, top 6 caliber players right away, which is a possibility there. I wouldn't mind seeing one of them get a shot on that line alongside Zibanejad and Kreider. But if Chris Drury and the front office don't fully believe in them right away to make that top 6 kind of an impact in free agency or through a trade, you definitely got to find a true kind of top line, top 6 caliber right winger to go alongside Zibanejad and Kreider possibly. I mean, maybe they get split up there. Maybe Kreider ends the third line there, and we see Zibanejad stay on that top line. That is a possibility, but a guy like Brett Berard is more of a left winger than a right winger as well. So if Zibanejad and Kreider were to both stay on one of those top 6 lines there, and they need a right wing alongside them, maybe Berard isn't the best fit. Guy like Othmann had definitely played a bit of both, so he could fit on the right wing spot. But I do believe that Brett Berard has played a bit of right wing in the past, but I'm not quite sure if he's really fully ready to play right wing in the NHL in the top 6. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not they fully trust him to do so. But Othmann very well could be a decent fit alongside Kreider and Zibanejad. And the only other New York Rangers forward prospect that I do think is NHL ready, who can play right now next season possibly, is a guy like Adam Edstrom, who is a left wing, center, and right wing. He can play all 4 positions, but I'm not quite sure he has that talent or upside to play in the top 6. Maybe he does, develop into that, but I think for right now especially, and probably long term as well, he's more of a really good kind of third liner, bottom 6 kind of role, unlike guys like Othmann and Berard, who I think truly do have top 6 caliber upside. And the Rangers do have quite a few other really good forward prospects that I just wouldn't say are quite ready to make an impact at the NHL level, especially in the top 6. But taking a look here, depending on what the Rangers want to do center-wise with Filipino, whether they want to have him as that kind of third-line center or possibly move him to wing, which is definitely a possibility there. Maybe they want to try him out long-term next season as the right winger alongside Kreider and Zibanejad. That is a possibility that we could potentially see for next season. If that does happen, then the Rangers would definitely need to add in a good third-line center who is ideally a good two-way player, good defensively, good offensively, but also has a pretty good, tough, physical side where he's a pretty gritty player. Ideally has some playoff experience, but at least is a physical kind of two-way guy for that third-line spot. Maybe Hedl does stick on the wing somewhere. Maybe he's on the third line there. Maybe you do add in a solid two-way physical center there. Have Hedl as the one wing there. Maybe Will Cooley as the other. Maybe it's Brett Berard there or Othmann. That is a possibility there and could be a pretty good third line in my opinion. I wouldn't mind seeing, honestly, Othmann and Berard get a spot on this team next season, but do the Rangers want to add in 2 rookies to play in that top 9 forward-wise there? I'm not quite sure. It'll be interesting to see kind of what they do, but if that were to happen, I would not be completely against that, especially if they want to save some cap space, really use that more towards the defensive side of things there, where I do think there are some definite clear needs still on this team. So now let's shift our focus over to the defensive side of things, where there are a lot of questions still to be answered from this Rangers front office. Do they try and trade away or buy out a guy like Jacob Trouba? If so, that'll clear up a good amount of money there, about $4 million in cap space probably, because I'd imagine if they're trading him away, they're probably going to have to retain a bit of money there, and if they're buying him out, they're going to have about $4 million in cap space. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what they decide to do there with the captain, Jacob Trouba, who I am guessing is probably going to stay on this team for next season. Maybe he gets, bought out or traded the season after, but I'm kind of guessing he's probably going to stick with this team for next season. And if he does, I still think you're looking for a top 4 caliber defenseman to be added into this D-core. The top D pair will probably stay the same with Adam Fox and Ryan Lindgren. And then for the second one, though, I would like to see Braden Schneider kind of move up to that second D pair spot instead of Jacob Trouba, kind of knock him down to the third pair there, and then possibly add in a guy alongside either Jacob Trouba or Braden Schneider, whether it is, K'Andre Miller going alongside Schneider, or obviously Trouba on that third D pair. That's kind of the question there. But either way, I wouldn't mind seeing this team add in a true kind of top 4 caliber defenseman who at least has that talent. Maybe he's playing on the third D pair there with Jacob Trouba, or he's playing on the second D pair there with Braden Schneider. Either way, I would like to see a top 4 caliber defenseman who is a good, really good kind of defensive guy, but also has a good physical side to him as well, and ideally is a good puck-moving defenseman. I think that was a bit of a need for this team in the playoffs, as well as not just another good physical, tough, big defenseman as well. Ideally, the kind of 6'2" or bigger, but also a really good kind of puck-moving defenseman to go alongside Braden Schneider or possibly Jacob Trouba. K'Andre Miller is still a very good defenseman, I think. Definitely can be a really good guy going forward and truly can be a top 4 caliber guy. But if you have him on your third D pair or add in a top 4 guy who is top 4 caliber, but also is playing on that third D pair instead of a guy like K'Andre, I think that adds in a lot of depth for this team and a lot of just overall talent on that D-core, which is still needed for this team. And with this team currently having 3 RFAs left to re-sign, guys like Braden Schneider, Ryan Lindgren, and Kaapo Kakko, it's going to be tough to fill all of the needs that this team does currently have, especially without using some of the good prospects that we do have. So hopefully we see guys like Brendan Othmann, Brett Brett Berard and all the other guys as well who are NHL ready play some big roles in this upcoming season. Anyways, though, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please smash the like button. Don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on this video. What do you think the biggest needs are for this team? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe for daily New York Rangers content, even throughout the entire offseason. I'll be posting every single day. Thanks for watching, and let's go Rangers.